on the air. Right, fantastico. Okay, let's just get this all set up. Right, we should be able to hear the microphone and everything. Absolutely fantastico. Okay. I think we're now all up and running pretty smoothly. Don't expect an incredibly large audience, but it's going to be nice for the drivers to have something to watch back if that's what they want to do. So let's get everything set up here. So we'll have the tyre detail, of course. A very key part of qualifying is going to be what tyres the top 10 will be starting on. We'll get your lap data. We'll get your full track map, as it looks like an Aston Martin's gone for a little bit of an adventure. It's not Tiak, it's his teammate. It's Gunnar ADL 77, sorry. As the Haas goes flying on through, just getting situated. A little bit off the ball with this broadcast today, actually. Just joining mid-qualifying at short notice, but it's a tight battle at the top between Bryce and Juventino at the moment. A 118.1 and a 118.1. So the top two separated by only 300ths of a second. Strong showing so far from the Aston Martin pairing of Tiak and Gunnar. The two Aston Martins locking out the second row as it stands. Gunnar crossing the line to start his next qualifying lap, it would seem. Got a few guys in the pits. Bryce may be on a hot lap here, but he has actually invalidated his lap time, so he won't be able to improve on this run because it will not be counted. We'll bring the and the lap data as well. As he does come into the pit, he will have enough time to go out and set another lap. We've got Beckett approaching the line now. DRS open straight away at the DRS line and jumps up to P4 to split the two Aston Martins, setting the fastest third sector as Tiak jumps up to provisional pole position. A comfortable, not great, but a comfortable margin of 0.2 of a second there, around about. It's going to be interesting to see if either Bryce or Juventino, who's just on his way out now actually, will perhaps be able to knock him off the top spot. And here goes Gunnar. Of course, in Portimao, if you don't turn down your ERS deployment mid-lap, you are not going to have enough ERS deployment to last you for the rest of the lap. He can't improve. He's low on fuel as well now. Didn't even bother using the DRS there, so I don't think he was serious about setting a time. We had Tommy there just staying out of the way as he left the pit lane, as you were supposed to do. Lucky Boff getting a little bit wriggly there in the Haas. Thank you very much, Ignacio. He has invalidated his lap time too, though, so he is not going to be able to set another time. And I think he perhaps wanted to go and have another lap there and realised he just didn't have the fuel to do it. Villeneuve, he's on his outlap as well in the Ferrari. Flavius doing the same in his Alfa Romeo. Getting a little bit close there between Tiak, our provisional pole position setter, and one of the Haas cars there. I think that might have been Lucky Boff. Some yellow flags, of course, mainly just for drivers either running out of fuel after completing their hot laps, or most of the time just getting out of the way of drivers that are on the hot laps. Of course, you don't want to be blocking other drivers. That just leads to a complete mess and a very busy stewards room, and that's not what we want. Juventino, though, he's on his outlap. Still yellow flags flying, so we can't quite see the remaining time left in the session, but can he try and snatch pole position away from Bryce or Tiak, or whoever else may want to throw themselves into the fray come the end of this session? 2 minutes and 40 remaining on the clock, so just enough time for drivers to actually be able to get out of the pits and get round and start to set a lap. So we're going to see a few more times now. Juventino clearly opting to try and get his run in slightly earlier than the optimal time for the track conditions, perhaps just to try and make sure he keeps clear of any traffic, and it seems to be working for him so far. That's a purple sector 1 time. So he's the fastest of all our drivers in the qualifying session through the first sector so far, as he comes hurtling through the second sector. Maximum commitment through the right-hander. Trying not to spin through here because the grip just disappears away from you on the uphill as the downforce peels away with a lower speed. Taking the left flat, taking this flat for as long as you dare before slamming on the brakes. Getting the car turned in and trying not to run wide like that. That's how you get an invalidation. All 4 wheels crossing the white line that demarcates the edge of the track there. So that means no dice. That's not going to count. He's going to have to go for another lap if he can. Tiak still in the pits, as well as Bryce. They're going to have to come out soon if they want to set another lap time. Perhaps they are just confident enough in where they are. Perhaps they've used up all of their softs. It looks like Bryce has, because he's just retired in the pit, so he won't be setting another time. But here's Tiak. Tiak's on his outlap. He's going to have to actually possibly put a little bit more forces through that tyre than he would really want to on his outlap, because he can't dilly-dally around. Leaving it pretty late. We've got Tommy here. He's on either a hot lap or perhaps an in-lap. Yeah, he's on an in-lap. I think he may have just shot himself up to P2. I do apologise there to Tommy for missing that. There's a lot of stuff goes on at once, of course, in a qualifying session. As you can see, lots of drivers on out-laps, lots of drivers on in-laps and hot laps, and it can be hard to just keep track. Occasionally, Houdini in the McLaren, he has just crossed the line, I think, to start a lap. Nope. Okay, next I'm just going to have to start saying that people aren't setting laps, and then maybe they will do, because it seems that I'm jinxing it all. One person I haven't jinxed is Villeneuve. He's messed that up all on himself. He's invalidated his lap. So he's not going to be able to set another time, I don't think, in this qualifying session. So P8 is going to be the best a Ferrari driver can hope for. Be Lucid in P10. He crosses the line, backs off as he does, so he's finished his qualifying session now in P10. Looks like Tommy is going for a second hot lap. He was pushing earlier on, I think, and invalidated. So he's going to be eager to try and see if he can just gain a 10th and knock Tiak off those top positions. He's low on fuel, and that's the lap over there, I think. Oh, he's gotten away with that, but he's going to pit anyway. Juventino here is not pushing. He's not going to be able to improve. Gunnar is one of the first of the drivers now to actually finish his qualifying session. He's crossed the line and taken a checkered flag. Houdini has invalidated, he can't improve, as has Villeneuve. Be lucid, he's on quite possibly a time lap, but it doesn't look like it because he's half throttle. NB Mason, he's already crossed the line and taken the checkered flag. Capital 58, he's on the run up to the line now. The DRS swings open, crosses the line, can't improve on P13 as he crosses with the checkered flag waving to signal the end of his session. Flavius, his Alfa Romeo teammate, also not going to be able to improve. Here goes Lucky Boff. He'll be wanting to improve. What's Lucky Boff's look like? Non-existent apparently. P15 for the Haas driver. He'll be starting ahead of Danny Blazin, who's already taken the checkered flag. Shaken Beans is retired, and we've got Severe Scott here in P18. He won't be setting another lap either. Tiak is gone across the line. He's going to set another lap time. He's going to improve by even more. It didn't look like anybody was going to threaten him anyway, but he set that lap time anyway. 17.5 as Severe Scott picks up the 5th place grid penalty there for a collision with Gunnar AD1. That's not what you want to be seeing in a qualifying session. You just got to keep it clean, guys. Don't be getting into contact. I'm sure there may be a little bit of a conflict arising from that after the race. We'll see. It might depend on how well Severe Scott does in the race. If he somehow ends up near the front of the field, I think he may well forget about the qualifying infringements there, but that's going to be your top. I think that's your whole grid actually, as a matter of fact. Severe Scott isn't going to improve, he just hasn't taken the flag yet. I think that's the only guy we're waiting for. So it's going to be Tiak on pole position, a 117.5. Absolute domination of this qualifying session by the Aston Martin driver. He just got everything right when the chips were down to really nail that lap. Tommy lining up in P2 with a 118 flat almost. Only 700ths off breaking into the 117s. 118.1, that's Bryce. He did miss out on actually going for a lap when the track was at its fastest though. He retired pretty early in the session. Apologies there for the technical difficulties. We should be back now. But yeah, an absolutely dominant qualifying performance there by Tiak. He's going to be hoping to capitalise on that on the race and secure at least a podium, if not the win. You've got to think that surely be his aim going into this one. Okay, yeah, apologies for that. We should be back for good now. We're just waiting for everybody to load in now, of course. They're going to be setting their strategies on the grid. I'm not sure if we're going to get any weather here today. It's a little bit cloudy, so we may see a little bit of rain coming in. But I would imagine it's probably going to be pretty dry. It usually stays dry, so we'll wait and see. I didn't get any sort of weather forecast or indication beforehand on the weather conditions, unfortunately. So yeah, just a little intermittent break as everybody selects their strategy for the race. We should see a bit of variation, some people starting on the mediums further back, perhaps a couple within the top 10 as well that really sort of nailed their laps on that harder compound of tyre. That will really sort of open up strategic avenues for them in the race, but yeah, it doesn't mean you're screwed if you're on softs either. It's you gotta weigh up the pros, you gotta weigh up the cons, you gotta make a decision on what you're gonna do. So that's what this time is for now, just for everybody to get that sort of thing sorted. And there we go, that's the 30-second countdown beginning now for the race to begin. So drivers just got their last little chances in now to tweak their strategies before they're going to be stuck to what they're doing. Well, stuck to what tyre compound they're starting on, of course. You're not stuck to what you're going to do in the race, but yep, they've got just a little bit of time left now just to make sure that they've got their strategies perfect. They're exactly on what they are, what tyres they're wanting to be on. Trying to keep it down so I don't get told off by the security guard again. And here we are, we're going to have the formation lap, Tiak leading the way. Hi to the guys in chat, starting to get a little bit busier now as the race begins. Nice to see. Hello there to California Robert as well, who's hanging out. Also Danny. Tiak leading the way, he's not waiting around at all. Tommy has other ideas, it would seem, though. He's hanging back a little bit with the Red Bull of Price. And here we see our AWS graphics, so there's a little bit of strategy variation here. You can do that one stop, which means obviously you don't have to make one extra pit stop. That's less time you're going to spend in the pits, but also you're going to be slower on those tyres when you're actually out doing your racing laps. The two stop, of course, a little bit more aggressive. You're going to be going quicker on those tyres, but you are going to have to try and use that pace to offset the extra pit stop that you're going to make. So it's going to be an intriguing little battle of strategy here. I think we're going to see it split throughout the field, to be honest. And we'll just bring up the tyres now and see what everybody's starting on. So JST is the furthest ahead, is the highest placed driver, sorry, on the medium tyres. So that really opens up the strategy options. We'll have to see what he can do against the soft runners ahead of him. Of course, everybody from P1 to P8 all on the soft tyres. Be Lucid then rounding out the top 10 on the softs. We've got Capital, the only driver in the field on those hard tyres. So he's definitely going to be looking to commit to a one stop, I'd imagine, either a hard soft or a hard medium, but most likely a hard soft, you would imagine. Snake and Beans down in P17, he has free tyre choice, but he opts to go for the soft, of course, the fastest tyre, but also the one with the shortest life. They may go the fastest, but they are going to go for the shortest amount of time. We've got a massive gap here from Juventino to the cars ahead, and I think that's possibly going to be looked at after the race, because of course what Juventino does then, if the drivers ahead are too far ahead, they're going to be sat on the grid, their tyres are going to be going cold while they wait for the other drivers to catch up. Look at that gap. Some drivers not even around the final corner yet. So yes, Snake and Beans has looked at it. He's gone, maybe I'm going to be a little bit restricted on strategy, but you know what, I'm going to have that pace on the start and in those early laps to try and just make up those positions, and that's probably the plan, because he's going to have a massive advantage on the medium runners and an even larger one on Capital, who may see himself getting swallowed up slightly by the pack. Of course, it takes a while for those hard tyres to get warmed up as well, as is the nature of the compound. As we line up now, I think everybody is fully lined up in their grid spot. We should be ready to begin as Codemasters does its usual thing. We're counting down to 5 red lights. And it's lights out and away we go. It looks like Tommy's actually got a really good start there alongside Tiak. He's already past Tiak. who has not gotten the getaway that he'll want to do. The Red Bull with a solid getaway behind, just managing to fend off the Haas, the first corner obviously being essentially flat, especially at the race start, so a lot of opportunity for carnage. We've got an AlphaTauri off there in the background. I'm going to just try and stick with the leaders for a second. We've got some penalties going about for Flavius and Ambu as well, and that looks like a VSC has been called out, so we'll go and take a trip to the back of the field and have a look at Mason, who's yeah, he hasn't got off to a great start this race. No front wing, massive damage there on that Williams car, already with a 5-second time penalty as well. We've got Flavius a little bit further up. He also has a penalty, although it looks like he may have escaped unscathed. So his race certainly not over. He'll have to take that hit at the pit stop, though. He will be having to stand stationary for 5 seconds before his mechanics can actually work with his car. Going through the field, it doesn't look like we've got much damage apart from here. We've got Ray, his AlphaTauri, missing that front wing, so he's going to fall essentially to the back of the grid as soon as racing resumes. He's going to have to pit. Let's have a little recap of the top positions before the VSC comes in, because it will be coming in shortly. Tommy leading the way as we go green. Tiak just behind him. Then Bryce in P3. A great start by Tommy, who's really paid off dividends, because now he has the front, he has the track all ahead of himself, and he can really try and just pull away and manage his race. We've got Schumacher there, he's off. As Tiak trying to put pressure on Tommy and the run down to turn 1. Carry a lot of speed through there and flat out through 2, then braking for 3. Tommy going a little bit deep, but Tiak does the same and doesn't open up any opportunities for the Aston Martin driver quite yet. Just trying to stay within the lines there, though the track obviously, as you come over that crest, you're losing a little bit of downforce as you get a little bit of lift through the car, and it can be a little bit difficult just to keep it within the white lines on the exit, but they're doing a good job so far. Penalties can really be a killer though. Looks like we've got a Ferrari there who's had a little spinella. Pronto, Snake and pronto. Losing the position there to VTEC, the McLaren behind of Schumacher. Going to be way too far back to capitalise on that. So we've got the guys without the wings coming in for their changes. Look at that, just agonising there for Flavius. He's going to have to just lose all the positions. He's going to watch everybody going past him, although he is going to be able to gain the position from Mason. We've got a retirement there of a Haas car. We'll try and get a look of it. He's just off there on the right hand side. We'll ride on board with Severe Scott, see if maybe he can just see that Haas off to his right hand side. There he is in the barrier. We've got another VSC, but perhaps we get a full course safety car, but it's just going to be the VSC for now. Especially at technical tracks like this, it's so important to keep the car on the black stuff, and you're going to pick up positions just from other people making mistakes and going off, as we've seen there with Beckett. There's always a chance of these VSCs being upgraded to full course safety cars as well as to the actual physical safety car, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen on this occasion. Tiak already out of a second as well of Tommy, although that is going to go up and down as they slow down and speed up under the delta of the VSC. Field already immensely spread out though for 3 laps of racing. Over a minute to the guys at the back compared to the guys at the front, and just an absolute massive spread through the field. Basically we've got the top 3 in a league of their own, and then behind them we've got the McLaren of Houdini, followed by Juventino in the Mercedes, with Webb and JST as well making up the rest of that pack. Oh, that's a drive-through penalty for Severe Scott. He's going for a clean sweep of penalties in practice, in qualifying. On the race, it would seem, after getting that 5 blitzkrieg penalty, the race is essentially over now, unless there's going to be a safety car, because he's basically being forced to make an extra pit stop without the benefit of new tyres, as we see Peen go off there. But we're going to ride on board with Tiak. DRS enabled. Tommy weaving right, then Tommy weaving left, trying to break the slipstream on the run down to turn 1. It looks like Tiak might be fully passed, and he is. Tommy can't quite fight that back. It might actually open the door for Bryce as Tommy gets forced a little bit off the line, but not quite. Bryce going to be able to cut back and then take his normal line through there. Tommy going to be able to recover as well. So no position changes there. It looks like that Alpine has been okay to just continue on. He's not going to have to worry, it seems, about anything else other than position losses, as we may have a little bit more fighting going on at the front. going to ride on board with Bryce in his Red Bull as he chases down the second place Mercedes of Tommy. Already in a great position here to take a podium, but he wants more than just that P3. Of course, it's immensely difficult for these drivers behind Tiak now through these sections. The dirty air being massive, but Tiak is the one that makes the mistake there. He runs wide off track. This could open the door for Tommy, who's going to try and hang it around the outside, running right the way up to the white line on the right hand side. Tiak has left just enough space. You've got to love the camera angles, thank you very much. As they go side by side, a little bit of contact made there, and there goes Tommy, spinning onto the grass. And there's so much glory that can be gotten from fighting for the lead, but there's almost just as high a risk of absolute disaster striking. That's what's happened there as Bryce sets the fastest lap of the race. He isn't settling for P2. Going to the left hand side, DRS wide open on Tiak, and he's cleanly passed before they get to the apex of turn 1. Easily getting past him there with the DRS open. Of course, that straight being quite long, it's quite easy to make a move down there if you do manage to get the exit out of the last corner, which isn't as easy as it sounds. Houdini now 3 seconds back as well. He might want to get a little bit interested if the top two continue to fight this much. Villeneuve there setting the fastest first sector time. He's still under pressure from Gioventinho, though, who's perhaps pushing him to keep putting those purple times in to try and just keep his nose ahead. JC behind them on the mediums as well, and now as we start to get further into this race, it comes more and more towards JC. The only thing that shouldn't be coming towards JC is those inside curves. He's got to be careful there. He just touched it, got a little bit loose there through the first of those 2 apexes. Luckily for him, he managed to just ride the oversteer and continue onwards unaffected. But this track can be an absolute killer. It's so technical, and you've really got to nail those apexes. An inch too far to the left or the right could spell absolute disaster, as Lucky Boff decides to demonstrate for us there, spinning off, then back onto the track. In sector 2, he's going to be able to continue onwards, and we shouldn't have to worry about even a VSC there. Bryce still leading the way. He's got Tiak behind him. They're moving to try and break the tail. Tiak then moving to try and regain it. Bryce touches those inside curves that I was warning them about. Tiak putting him under pressure. A little bit of a lock up there from the Aston Martin driver, but there's just no way past Bryce managing to actually continue on in P1 after that mistake. He's managed to regain a good position defensively on the track and just positions his Red Bull perfectly to just cut off at any avenue that Tiak might have to try and make a move. Gioventinho still pressurising Villeneuve as well. Basically on those mediums looking even more interested as this race goes on. Of course, that delta's going to start coming towards him. Capital on the hards, probably still not quite as quick as the softs, but they're going to be getting there as the softs continue to degrade. You've got to think as well, this course, there's just so many corners, and it's putting a lot of forces through the tyres, especially the fast sectors of corners of sector 3, sorry. So as you see the left and the right at high speed, to really try and get the cars turned in there into the apexes. A lot of force going through the tyres. We'll go check in now on the lead battle. Tiak behind Bryce. Tiak using all his battery. Trying to close this down. Looks like Bryce didn't get the best exit. DRS open for Tiak. See, such a big gap has become so small now as they come down into turn 1. Bryce running out of DRS. Tiak on the inside, unable to make the move into the first apex. Can he make it into the third? Can't quite. He's going to take a wider line, see if he can try and cut back, maybe maximise his exit, but then the uphill left-hander here just sort of cuts off any chance of him making that move. He's going to get the DRS again though. He's going to be tucked up behind Bryce. The slipstream as well coming into effect, but the straight is just a little bit too short there. Villeneuve even further back of Houdini as well, so he doesn't look like he's making a move. Tiak still looks interested though. Bryce needs to watch out and make sure he doesn't make any mistakes. He's being put under real pressure here by Tiak. There goes another mistake by Bryce. Tiak getting really interested now. Bryce needs to just calm himself down and try and deal with this pressure that Tiak is putting him under. And he doesn't need to anymore. Tiak locking the rear brakes, it looked like there. The rear slid around, and the McLaren of Houdini hasn't had to make a single overtake. And he's looking to P3. Villeneuve getting interested in maybe picking up a podium position, and he does. Tiak still hanging it around on the outside on his hotter soft tyres though. He's going to have to worry about the rear maybe losing it again, because it's going to be so overheated, and that's a full course safety car as well. Villeneuve picks up a 3-second time penalty. They've got to be careful not to make any contact there. They'll get a big penalty put towards them. Houdini is going to pit, as will Bryce. Glenworth follows them in. It's the smart thing to do. It was Severe Scott with a DNF as well there, the Alpine driver. Not 100% sure what happened to him. I did see him go off, but we were following that battle with Glenworth as well. And Tiak, so to save Tiak a little bit actually. He would have lost quite a bit of time to Bryce after that little unfortunate spin. Bryce has gone onto the soft tyres, so he's really committing to a two-stop. Not sure if the softs are really the tyre of choice to go on at this point, but he's got VTEC behind him at least that will offer a little bit of a buffer to the rest of the front runners. JSD now leading the way on his mediums. Capital, who started P14 I believe on those hard tyres, now up to P2. Of course has pitted on the safety car. VTEC getting himself up to P4 by doing the same. Houdini has opted for the medium tyre, perhaps a slightly smarter choice in the race, but it remains to be seen. Of course, offering you a little bit more durability than the soft tyres, and that's what can be really important around a track like this, especially in race trim. Tiaka's going for the hards. It looks like he's probably going to be trying to do the one stop then. He's going to want to try and take those hard tyres all the way until the end of the race. Or maybe he thinks just to take them pretty long until there's a late safety car, if that does arise, because it's quite possible around here. Especially if drivers start to get a little bit fatigued after racing for quite a while. It can be easy to just make a mistake and brings out the safety car. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I'm sure there are lots of twists and turns remaining in this race. Danny Blaze in a flagless there, both in. The Elusive, he's on fresh hard tyres as well. We're basically going to have a rolling normal race start essentially. The whole field is going to be bunched up from P1 to P18 all in one train, and it's going to be on JSD on when he wants to dart away. Of course not quite yet, we've got to wait for all of the cars to catch up, or for 3 laps on the safety car to pass, whichever one happens there. Should be pretty quick for the cars to catch up. It might just have to be in the next lap instead of this one, because the Alpha Romeo there, Flavius, is quite far behind, as is B-Lucid. B-Lucid may actually be lapped. Yeah, he is lapped, so his race is essentially over, because he can't unlap the leaders really unless he's the fastest car, and it's going to be difficult if I was him. I wouldn't be too happy with my chances really. Schumacher looking off over into the pits now as well. As the safety car makes its way through the first sector and into the second. Looks like another car has gone off there. Could that be Ray? It's an AlphaTauri, and it is Ray. He's lost it under the safety car. Not much I could say there other than how embarrassing, Ray. Let's all watch Ray. Let's watch Ray very intently as he tries not to make another mistake, and his front wing is gone. I mean, you expect more, don't you? But there we go, it is what it is. JSD still leading the way. Capital on the hards, of course. Behind them, he hasn't made another pit stop. Bryce on the soft is going to be looking to get past both of these drivers as quickly as he can, hoping that VTEC is going to be able to hold off the charge of Houdini and Tiak behind. Although they will be on a slower compounded tyre, of course. It looks like the other McLaren there, Schumacher, is off. Let's play Spot the McLaren, as we get the worst camera angle in existence. Looks like he's letting those 2 cars past by going off the track, which then allows them to overtake him. He may have some wing damage, perhaps. It looks like Ray got the illegal overtake there and had to back off again. Ray still going in that injured AlphaTauri. It's limping home to try and get to the pits. I think the safety car may come in this next lap that we're going on to now, because it's been out, I think, for a couple of laps, so this may be the third. Not 100% sure on that one. It may be the second. We may be in for another lap of safety car, but hopefully it will be in this lap. Although Ray will be hoping that it isn't, because he's going to have to come into the pits. Will he get it slowed down in time for the speed limit? Oh, big lock up. Yeah, he does. Danny Bladen taking that position as well, as he's going to be catching up pretty quickly to the back of the field. If Ray gets a move on after this wing change, he may even catch up to the field before the end of the lap. It's going to be close. It's not going to be easy, but he may be able to. hope he does. The racing is quite enjoyable, but the parade behind the safety car, not so much as we see the... I just caught that on the off-board as Lucky Buff decides to make a complete meal of dodging the Ferrari. Schumacher decides he wants to stop and take a picture from the side of the road. I mean, you're under safety car conditions. I mean, even Ray didn't mess it up that badly, but I'm like, what are you doing? Safety car in the slap says race control, so we will be getting racing no matter if Ray goes quick or if Ray goes slowly. He'll be hoping he can get caught up, but I'm not too optimistic that he will. JST warming the tyres, he's going to have to wait for the safety car to come in before he then makes his dart away. He'll be leaving the field, it's up to him when he wants to go. Of course, no overtaking allowed before the start-finish line, which is the first safety car line. As they appear over the crest. And here goes JST, so he's left now the safety car only just getting into the pits. Yeah, he timed that pretty well. He's got a good gap there to Capital as well. Bryce got a really good run on the hard tyre run there at Capital. VTEC a little bit further behind as Bryce goes down the inside and makes that move stick on the fresh soft tyres. It's what we expected from the front runner. Tommy getting past Gunnar as well there in the background, the Mercedes driver making light work of the copycat car. A little bit of fighting there between Mason and Buff. Mason just taking that defensive line, just positioning his car well to try and cut off any chance of an overtake through the left-hander, but Lucky Buff is going to be trying to make a move, possibly down the inside. Thinks better of it as Flavius goes side by side there with Schumacher, forcing Schumacher there a little bit off track. Schumacher not obviously having a great race so far. Let's jump back up to the lead. It's a Red Bull 1-2 for the moment, but it won't be for long because JST isn't going to be able to last that long on those tyres. He's not made it difficult for his teammate to get past there on the fresh softs. He's already got a 1 second gap to the sister Red Bull car. Capital trying to hang on to the back, and then as VTEC puts a little bit of pressure on. Houdini then also pressuring VTEC even more. It looks like he's going to get VTEC here because he's just got to get the exit. He's going to be able to put the car up on the slipstream, take a slightly wider entry, really try and maximise the speed by maximising the distance of the run onto the straight. Tucking up behind VTEC. VTEC's light flickering a little bit there, used up his ERS allocation for that lap, but he just about got away with it. As Houdini flies past down the inside, we've got some yellow flags there for someone. Not sure exactly who. Doesn't seem like we've had too much of an issue there. Pack obviously still pretty bunched up. Quite a sizable gap there between P1 and P2 as the timing boards decide that we're gonna have a bit of a disco. Alright guys, have a bit of a party. Schumacher now up in P1. Stop the count, he cries as he drives over the grass. Looks like it's fixed itself now though, as the Red Bull pair shoot back up to the top of the leaderboard. Houdini now with Capital in his sights is the next target. Schumacher picking up a 3 second time penalty, as it looks like the lobby may be synced a little bit there. I don't know what Schumacher's doing. To be perfectly honest, I'm a little bit lost. Yeah, perhaps you can explain after the race, because I don't have whatever university degree is required to try and interpret what Schumacher's doing out there today. I really don't. The gap between Capital and JST growing as well. He's not going to have the benefit of the slipstream or the DRS once it gets enabled. Houdini's going to be looking to utilise that to try and get past Capital and move himself up into the podium. He's a bit as JST and Capital are going to have to pit Cruz. Capital can stretch his tyres actually for quite a while yet, but he is still going to have to pit. Although if he can defend from Houdini, you never know, the one-stop may come in clutch as he's on past the tyres at the end. Capital moving a little bit in the braking zone as Houdini commits to the move, not fully down the inside, and then sort of backs out, sort of goes for it. Capital keeps the position down the outside. That was a little bit sketchy. It's tight going up the hill. Gunnar gets passed by Lukoff, who immediately loses it. He's back onto the grass. He's lost that position that he gained. Snake and Beans pouncing opportunistically on the Aston Martin there as he stops for a little bit of sightseeing, I think. Porti, not bad considering the state he was in a couple of laps ago. He's managed to recover relatively nicely from the heat span under that we're going to talk about. As Schumacher continues doing his thing. Bryce looking really comfortable out front now as he sets the fastest lap of the race. 2.7 seconds now separates him and JC. Looking down a little bit on the straight, so perhaps Bryce is running slightly more aerodynamic. Capital and Houdini still pretty close together. Capital just maintaining position into turn 1 so far, as we've got a Haas coming into the pit lane of Lucky Bob there. Oh no, he's not coming into the pit lane. I think he may have had a little bit of a pronto spin a la Mazza spin in the Haas. I don't know exactly what he's doing now, trying to get himself back up to racing speed. I mean, if you're getting overtaken by Schumacher in this race, then you are doing something wrong. Tiak, Tommy, side by side, they battle away. The Aston Martin and the Mercedes. The Mercedes just backing out there on the inside. That's the wise thing to do through that corner. You do not want to put your wing in there, because you're going to see the guy ahead spinning, and you're going to see him taking your front wing with it. The two Mercedes running line of stern around P7 and P8. We see some team orders. Tommy going really deep and nearly smashing into the back of Tiak there. Tiak's diffuser got a little bit scared there for a second. So a little bit wide. It doesn't look like he quite has the grip that his Mercedes teammate Giovinazzi has at the moment, as Lucky Bob goes flying off there, and that is another safety car. Another safety car. This is really going to help JSD, but he's already past the pit lane. He's already past the pit lane and caught up to the safety car. This might be disastrous for JSD. You would have thought it would be perfect. He'd be able to box now, probably around his pit window as well. His pit window maybe in a couple laps time on those mediums, but no, he was past the pit window when the safety car was deployed. That's really going to inconvenience him. I tell you who hasn't had the same problem though, VTEC. He's been able to box under that safety car. He's going to be coming out on hard tyres to go to the very end, getting a little bit loose as he takes the pit limiter off. Not quite able to get out ahead on track of being lucid, although he will be lapping him when we finally go green again. Mason pushing to catch up. It shouldn't be a very long safety car here because Mason isn't too far away. 10 seconds is pretty quick to make up under VSC conditions. Under safety car conditions, sorry. So this is just offering us a little bit of a break here, guys, to get some refreshments, get some snacks, as we wait for the field to catch up. So I'm going to put the camera on Bryce, and I'll be back in about a lap's time. Should have the mic audio coming through as well. Looks like my mic volume does need to go up ever so slightly, so I'll just fix that really quick. There we go. Hopefully this is a little bit better. Just sounded a little bit too quiet on the live stream. Of course it is 2 AM, so I don't want to be screaming. So hopefully the commentary can be heard over the screams of the engines as Bryce gets ready to restart this race. So hopefully the commentary can be heard. Yep, just going to give that a little check on the live stream there, just making sure that we're all good to go. As Bryce waits and goes. Not using his overtake actually there enough. He's going to be saving that. It looks like he thinks he's pretty comfortable from JST, who's in a really difficult position on those really worn medium tyres now. Houdini under pressure from Tiak. Tiak moves to the inside. They're gonna probably go side by side here. Houdini doesn't want to give this position up. He's forced off the track, but he doesn't even care. He just keeps going. Ooh, and it's close, but Tiak just gets the move done. A big tank slapper on the exit there from Houdini, and Juventino takes full advantage. Going all the way up the hill. So it was Tommy who took advantage at first. Now it's Juventino who tries to take advantage. Houdini riding that sausage curb as well on the inside. Might not help his exit, but he manages to get ahead. Manages to stay ahead of Juventino. We do have an AlphaTauri there that was off as well. Gunnar taking a slightly wider line than he'll want to. He's going to have to be careful he doesn't pick up penalties. As that camera shot. That camera shot there, I mean, that just sums up Schumacher's race. This is good for Be Lucid though, because now that Danny Blazin has retired, Be Lucid should gain a position in about 10 minutes time when he gains back however many laps he's down. Bryce still leading the way comfortably. Jason not comfortable though. Tommy going clean around the outside of him there at the last corner. JC deciding he's going to pit in this lap as a safety car, another safety car gets called out. There's debris littering the straight. I don't know what has gone on here. Something clearly has happened on the straight. This may have saved JC ever so slightly. Quite a few drivers filing into the pits. Snake and Beans is going to do the same thing. He's got Andrew Mason ahead of him in the pit lane. I think that is Be Lucid's car yet that's coming in there, and Schumacher. Schumacher has managed to get a flat tyre. Front left tyre of that McLaren. It's not in a good state, shall we say. He's going to have to limp all the way back to the pits now. You hear it rumbling and flapping away. Hitting against the tarmac. We've had so many safety cars. That inside lock-in for Schumacher so easily. Flavius coming out there on the soft tyres as well. Danny couldn't dodge a car at turn 1, and that's what has sent him crashing out of this race, unfortunately. Andrew Mason looking like he was in a bit of a spin there, but he wasn't. He was just pranking us, he was just messing about, don't worry about it. Be Lucid looking like he's got a sort of Gulf style sort of orange there on his helmet, looked very nice. Tommy this time is going to be leading away the safety car restart. Bryce is in P3. I'm not exactly sure what's gone on there, to be perfectly honest, of how Bryce is now in P3, but he's going to pit, so we'll see. He's going to be trying to go to the end of this race. The cars ahead of him probably won't be able to, apart from cars like JST. Juventino will. Flavius probably not on those softs, but Andrew Mason and VTEC are going to be looking to go to the end as well. Schumacher out on another set of softs. Be Lucid on the mediums. I mean, we've got to give credit to Be Lucid for hanging on in there. I would have quit 15 laps ago, but Be Lucid's hanging on in there. Refuses to give up, which is it's admirable, I must say. Fair play to him. JST looking like he's in an absolutely fantastic position here. He's going to be licking his lips as he looks at his timing screen on the top left of his well, wherever he has it on his heads-up display, because he's going to be going to the end on those hards, and the guys ahead don't stand a chance. Juventino behind might be looking to maybe do something about it. Of course, 14 laps left. Far too long for the softs to go. It's going to be a big ask, perhaps even for the mediums, but on low fuel, as well as it's near the end of the race. After a couple of laps under safety car as well, it looks like lap 20 will be under safety car, as well as just lap 19. So yeah, he's got a chance. Tiak is also probably going to be looking to go to the end. On hard tyres as well. You know, those hard tyres have just got an incredible life on them, so you're not able to go very far. A little bit of an arrow there, an X there, signalling that Tiak has disconnected. I don't think he has. Haven't seen him leave the session, but that might signal that maybe he's got a little bit of problem with a connection to the host, perhaps at this moment in time. It's going to be exciting to watch Bryce, I think, this race. He's going to make up a lot of positions to be anywhere near where he would have wanted to be going into this. We know he's got the pace, and he's going to be on those fresh mediums. I mean, the guys ahead are also on the fresh tyres as well, quite a few of them. It's going to be interesting. Will he be able to finish ahead of Tiak? Of course, he's 3 places behind him, but on fresh mediums compared to old hards, it's going to be a massive difference in speed. The driver's really got to make sure they stay within the right lines, though, under safety car especially. You really don't want to be wasting one of your 3 track limit warnings before a pen on driving under the safety car. Ray leaves the session there. Of course, he's already retired from this race, waiting for Snake and Beans to catch up. The Ferrari driver just leaving the pits now. He should be caught up before the end of this lap pretty comfortably, really. There's only sort of that small straight between them. The drivers ahead, of course, going very slowly on the safety car. Danny now leaving the session as well, I'm not surprised. You could stay in the lobby and watch the race, or you could hop into the YouTube and watch it with my absolutely dreadful comms. It's, you know, one of the two. Can't fault you either way. Capital looks to have dropped a couple of positions there. It looked like he maybe tried to... Yeah, it looks like he got overtook there by Amby Mason, and then the Williams driver handed that position back to him. As we see confirmation of this of what we expected to happen, which would be the safety car in this lap. Snake and Bean's going to be comfortably caught up, I think, if he just gets a little bit of a move on. Yeah, the car's just a few car lengths ahead of him now, so not going to have to worry too much. Tommy now, he's going to be leading the way this safety car restart. It's up to him when he wants to put the throttle down and go for it. He needs to wait for the safety car to get to the pit lane, of course. You don't want to be catching up to the safety car and having a Magello crash. It's not what you want. He's got the McLaren driver of Houdini behind him, looking very interested. Tommy leaving it really late, and he goes and he catches Houdini napping there. JC seems to react pretty well though. He's moving out of the slipstream though, so it doesn't look like he's going to be able to make a move. Side by side are the Alfa Romeo pairing of Flavius and Capital. Flavius losing the position there. Amby Mason looking like he's made a bit of contact. Be Lucid taking avoiding action. Schumacher rolling around on the outside of the track in neutral for some reason. VTEC going very slowly. He's lost his front wing in the mayhem that ensued. Gunnar trying to put Houdini under as much pressure as he can, trying to nick that P2 away from him. JC behind on the fresh hard tyres. He's going to be struggling on them though. They're really difficult to get into the temperature range. It takes a few laps for them to really sort of activate and provide the sort of grip that you want from them. We see Gunnar taking a wider line than Houdini, really trying to maximise his exit. Gets a little bit of a oversteering moment there. JC lifting up for a little bit of extra confidence there, as Juventino makes his way past JC. So yeah, JC having a bit of a scruffy corner there, lifting off early to try and reduce any risk of anything untoward happening, as Capital there gets past JC as well, who seems to be really struggling. Perhaps he has some bodywork damage. Yeah, he's going to jump into the pits. As we look at this battle behind, and it's another safety car. Yet another safety car. I mean, this race should have finished about 5 hours ago, it feels like. Tommy, once again, he's going to find himself leading a safety car restart away from Houdini, it looks like, unless we're going to see any more pit stops. 11 laps remaining of this race. This is really going to help out those medium runners, though, that we're going to be struggling towards the end of the stint, as they're going to have a couple of laps here where their tyres aren't going to be put under much stress. They're not going to wear down much. And it's got to give them a couple of free laps, essentially, as Bryce nearly goes into the back of Capital there. He's got to be careful of that. The last thing you want is to pick up some damage under the safety car and to completely ruin your race, especially when the field is pretty bunched up as it already is now. So any pit stop now is going to just drop you to the back of the field, and it's going to be really difficult to make your way back through. Tiak, our pole sitter, he's still down in P8 on 13 lap old hards. It's just not gone well for him at all. It really hasn't. The Italian driver would have been looking to make a bit more of an impression on the race than he has done. Juventino is going to be in a great position on these fresher mediums, though. It's going to be really interesting to see. Capital on those 6 lap old softs, they're already going to be starting to struggle a little bit. I'm not sure if he can make them go to the end. He's probably going to try, you'd think. I doubt he's going to box. He doesn't. Unless he goes really late. Nope, he thinks about it. Maybe tries to dummy the cars behind him a little bit. A little bit of mind games there, but it's not sure if it's really going to help him much. So we look at the last 2 drivers, Ambu Mason and VTEC. They're going to go flying straight now, right up to the safety car pack. So we're going to have the safety car in this lap, I would believe. Houdini there, look back, catching up a little bit now as well, though. There's a little bit more spread than you'd expect, actually, under the car. I'm not exactly sure what that, but he seems to have backed off for some reason. The safety car is going to be in this line. So we follow along with Tommy on the board. Actually, we'll give Juventino a chance to impress on the broadcast. We'll see what he can do. You can see his Mercedes teammate Tommy leading the way. He could put his foot down at any moment as soon as that safety car gets to the pit lane. The driver, not going to exit. Tommy contrasting his previous restart by going really early. Juventino gets hung up on the curb though, and really struggles with his exit, and he's going to get passed there by the Alfa Romeo driver. It looks all pretty spaced out though at the front, as Tiak needs an invite. So we'll just send Tiak a quick invite. Capital under pressure as well from Juventino. The gap, the field's still really bunched up, but Tommy looking pretty comfortable. 1.5 seconds back to the McLaren driver of Houdini, who is going to be disappointed with the safety car restart, I think. Not able to stick with the Mercedes driver and fight for the win just yet. 9 laps remaining now. Bryce getting past Capital. All incredibly long. Looking in the back. Watching, this might be one of the closest battles. There's a fight as well. Tiak under pressure from Snake. He's fully back in the race yet on I'm not even sure what that was. But we'll hop back to the front to see Bryce putting Gunnar under pressure for that last podium spot. Of course, Bryce on those 11 lap fresher tyres, he's going to have a really significant grip advantage over Gunnar ADI 77 here, so he's definitely going to be looking to make a move as he goes out really wide there, cuts in. He's got to watch out though if you get too tight to the apex there. That part of the track does like to give you a little bit of a plunter spinner. Capital just behind them on these soft tyres as well, looking a little bit interested. Gunnar going a little bit wide, but Bryce not quite close enough through there to capitalise and stick a nose in. Gunnar finding himself still under pressure. VTEC picking up a 3-second time penalty, multiple warnings on the track limits. He's going to be disappointed with that one. Gunnar taking an earlier apex is going to hurt his exit compared to Bryce, who really sort of nails it. The ERS already open, he's already looking to be past Bryce, making sure he's still behind though through the DRS detection point. He needs to be careful he doesn't get a little bit of oversteer because it can be quite easy, and the DRS detection point not actually mattering of course because the DRS is not enabled until this lap, and he's pretty comfortably past Gunnar. Pretty early in the straight there, Gunnar not really able to defend after his exit from the last corner. JST and Tiak looking a little bit interested and maybe getting back past JST, who just passed him I believe going down that straight. I'm not sure if Tiak's back, there's a little bit of debris out there on the outside as well. Has Gunnar finally gotten himself overtaken? It looks like he has. Juventino making a lovely move from the inside to the outside behind Juventino to try and straighten the behind Gunnar, sorry, to try and straighten the car up on the exit and get the move done around the outside. He can't quite do it, but Capital looks very happy with that one as he sort of skulks off into the distance in his Alfa Romeo. Juventino having to handle with a bit of oversteer there on the exit as well. It can be really difficult through that, especially in the dirty air of the car ahead. But he does have a big tyre advantage over Gunnar, so he's definitely going to be wanting to put him under some pressure here. As Tiak requires yet another invite. Tiak not even shown as online for me. It's probably not the best sign. And guys, as Bryce is putting Houdini under pressure for P2, he really gets a good exit. The DRS is going to flick open on the Red Bull, but he's got the momentum as he goes trying to fly around the outside. Houdini on the inside holds his line. It's going to be about traction, and Bryce is going to have the better of the tyres here for the grip. We start to the Houdini just ahead, but Bryce still in there. So Houdini finally gains that position, and Bryce gets a big bit of oversteer. That's what I mentioned earlier about being tight to that corner. It can give you an absolute bucket load of oversteer on the exit if you're not careful. Gunnar and Juventino pretty close here as well. They're leading a bit of a train with Flavius, Snake and Beans, and then JST just behind. Look like you win it for at one point. Schumacher picking up that 3-second time limits there, going too tight to the inside, and past Tiak before he manages to get himself back in the session. I'm sure Schumacher ahead gets himself on the grass and away he goes. I mean, how he does not DNF from that, I cannot comprehend, quite frankly. But you know what, I'm glad he didn't, because another safety car would probably send me to sleep. Tommy leading the way. Our timer screens of course glitched because I don't think Codemasters know how to get out of bed in the morning, let alone. So we're going to have to wait for that to fix itself. Tiak just sneaking his way past Ambi Mason there. I think he may still be AI, I'm not sure. How many penalties? Actually, we can have a look at Schumacher's penalties. Only 12 seconds, I thought it would be more, I can't lie. I don't ones that he would get after the race from the stewards for the display racecraft that's been on show today. Tommy leading really comfortably ahead as he comes to cross the line to hopefully fix our timing screens. That would be really appreciated. Tommy, fixing it for us, please, mate? As he crosses the line. And then we'll see as Houdini crosses side by side with Bryce, and yep, it's starting to fix itself. Bryce getting past Houdini, who doesn't have the DRS to defend from him. And that's a pretty easy move for the Honda-powered Red Bull. JC still under pressure from Flavius, who's under pressure from Snake and Beans. 3 cars behind though. Ambu Mason looking to make the move on Tiak. VTech could be trying to make a move on both of them. As Ambu Mason gets pushed a little bit deep. Tiak not quite having the bravery there to stick that out flat. We're going to have to clip that and send that to him and say, come on Tiak, come on VTech. See some aggression. Tommy now 3 seconds ahead, doesn't need to show any aggression, he just needs to show smooth inputs to bring this one home. Nice and easy. We'll bring up the tyres again actually, because I know we've had it on pretty much for the entire race, but it's because it's been so crucial to this race. So many different strategies going on all the time here through this race. It's been really intriguing to see safety cars always shaking things up. It's been difficult to really get along with, but Bryce should be catching up to Tommy now. There's 4 laps left. He's got 11 laps fresher tyres. Can we? We're going to have to wait and see. It will be very interesting. Capital on the back of Houdini. Capital with DRS, Houdini without it. Houdini sees him going and gone as he gets past him down into turn 1. JST as well as Juventino on slightly fresher tyres as well on the cars ahead. Capital is going to be really struggling, you'd think, on those soft tyres, but he doesn't seem to be acting like it as he flew past. Houdini putting the pressure on Capital though in the McLaren. DRS wide open. Schumacher in the other McLaren. Yeah, less said the better, I think. We've got a little bit of a train form back as well. We've got TX, I think, leading the way. I don't think he's still reconnected. VTech just wanting to get past him. Ambu Mason behind them as well. Then Schumacher a minute and 5 seconds behind, with Lucid another 23 behind. And there goes Schumacher again. 10-second time penalty for corner cutting. And even after that, he's still ahead of B Lucid. Not a great race for Team Alpine, it must be said. Let's have a look how many these Schumachers on there. 20. Lovely style. I'm going fast that. Second time back in the car. The AI would do that. He's getting past Flavius down the inside into the hairpin. Flavius looking like he might want to try a bit of a switch, but he just doesn't have the grip to make that work. Lower Aston Martin. Tommy now 2.4 seconds. Bryce has made a mistake, it would appear. He's just time he gained. He's got Capital right on his rear. And as well as Bryce started off this race, it doesn't look like he's continued that form throughout it, because he should be flying up to the back of Tommy, but he really isn't. He's actually going to be looking in his mirrors at a very warm tyre running Capital 58, if that sentence made even the slightest bit of sense. I'm not sure that it did, but let's roll with it. Bryce unable to put up a fight after that exit, it looks like, and he's going to fall actually behind a car that's running 16 lap old soft tyres. So yeah, Bryce not driving to his potential at the moment. It doesn't look like. This looks like it's going to secure the win for Tommy. A few drivers struggling with lockups there into turn 3. It's not an easy corner, not by any stretch of the imagination. And on his lap old, looking like he might want to try and do a little bit of a charge, see if he can grab in the last couple of laps. Flavius right on the back of Snake and Beans as Bryce and Houdini fight. Houdini getting past into Pete.
fallen out in tension now, it looks. Bryce must have some damage in him. You wouldn't think on 12 lap old mediums that this would be his pace. Juventino as well has a little bit of a lock up in the dirty air. Bryce just struggling to get the power down, it would seem, as well through there. Not having a great time out there at the moment. He's just outside of the DRS range as well of Houdini, so he's not going to have the DRS, I don't think, to defend from Juventino. He might do, as he runs out of ERS prematurely as well. Yeah, he's completely out of the ERS, but Juventino hardly has any left either, as he closes up to Bryce on the last lap of the race. He's got one more DRS straight before the end of this race, so he'll be wanting to make that move on Bryce. If he can't do it there, he'll have to try and do it through the corners, because I'm sure he's got that P4 eyed right up, but so might Jace D, running behind Juventino. Of course, Juventino's slipstream and DRS that he's getting from Bryce is cancelling out Jace D's, and just keeping the Mercedes driver safe from the threat lurking behind him at this moment in time. I know there may be some other fights going on as well, but this looks like the one we need to keep our eye on now, as these guys are fighting over P4. Looks like these three could finish in any order, but I think they're going to finish in the order that they're in now, unless we see any mistakes from either of these. Juventino getting a nice exit there up behind Bryce. JC really trying to put him under pressure. Do either of them get any oversteer moments coming out of the last traction zone? No, they don't. Tommy looks like he's going to cross the line, taking a victory here in Portimao. We'll be very happy with that one. Capital coming home in P2 with Houdini P3, Bryce P4, Juventino P5 and JC P6. Here goes Gunnar. He's going to outdrag Snake and Beans to the line as well to come home P7 ahead of Snake and Beans P8. Flavius P9. VTEC rounds off the points playing positions as Tiak crosses the line P11. Ambu Mason then crossing the line for P12, followed by B Lucid in the Alpine. So that was the race, guys. I hope you all enjoyed that, and yeah, see you all around. Thanks for watching.